Hey everyone, welcome to Karchermakes. I'm Andrea, and this is the next episode of WIP Wednesday. Last week was my first WIP Wednesday episode, and thank you for everyone for your nice comments on there. I read all of them, and I'm glad you're really enjoying these shorter mini-sodes where I can share a little more in-depth whatever project I happen to be working on. Now, I do work on multiple projects at once. I currently have at least four WIPs going, but this is the one that really has me excited, so I want to share where I'm at with it. So last week I talked all about the Jethro Cardigan by Tanis Lavelli, and this is a crochet and knit cardigan. Crochet and knitting together. It's so good. But I talked all about how I picked out my yarns and started my squares. And at the time last week, I only had about 12 squares done. I've been on a tear, and I finished all 36 squares. All of my squares are made from leftovers, scraps of the scraps, the leftovers of the leftovers, and I tried to keep the colors cohesive, these pinks, purples, and oranges. Each square is unique. I didn't want to repeat any color sequence from inside out or outside in, and one thing that I mentioned last week is that I went up a hook size to a size G6 crochet hook, but what I failed to mention, and I'll include that here, is that when I make granny squares, I am very much a one chain girly, meaning some granny squares in between clusters and in the corner call for 2 chains in each of those spots. I just like to do 1 chain there. I feel like it makes a tighter, it's still holy, but a little tiny bit less holy square. In last week's WIP Wednesday, I talked all about how I need to pick a color to join all of these squares. And again, there's 36 of them. So because I used all of the colors also in the final round, I didn't want to use one of these colors to do the joining, because then, like for example, if I use this purple to do the joining, then this purple would be lost on this particular square. So what I decided to do is I went back through Ravelry and I looked at all of the completed projects that people posted pictures for. And if you're one of these people who updates Ravelry, please know I appreciate that effort so much. I enjoy looking back through project pages and seeing the pictures and the notes. But I went back through and I was really kind of trying to take a look at examples where people use similar colors to me. And what I ultimately decided to do was to dye my own DK weight yarn so that I can start getting these joined and then also knit the sleeves, the band, and the hem. So I did a little bit of yarn dyeing last week, and it has been a hot minute since I've dyed yarn. I'm trying to remember the last time I dyed anything. Probably at least a year ago, if not 2 years ago. But this is what I ended up with. I asked for advice in that video last week, and everyone was giving me great advice, and all different colors, neutrals, bright tones, deep tones, blue tones, pink tones. Everybody had great advice. But again, as I was going back through those other project pages and examples, I kind of gravitated to ones where there was more contrast between the actual colors being used in the squares and the color being used to join them. So I decided to go with this kind of cool toned, medium, silvery gray color, and I don't know, I think it works. as far as contrasting what is already there with the pinks, the purples, and the oranges. So now that all of these squares are done, and like I mentioned, it's 36 of them, and I did 12 with the pink tones on the outside, 12 with purple tones on the outside, and 12 with orange tones on the outside, just to give it a little bit of balance and color choices when I go to put these all together. But my next step before I do that is I want to block these. Now, I did share this last week, my one blocked granny square, and I blocked this to 5 inches. I really want to block all these first before I crochet them together, and I want to make sure that the sizing that I chose is going to work well with a 5-inch square. So that is where I'm at with the Jethro cardigan. I've got my contrast color ready to go. I'll cake these up so that they're ready. I'm gonna go down today, get these squares blocked. That'll probably take at least, I don't know, a day or two just to get these all laid out and dry. I will WIP lock these. And from there, we can start the joining process and then get the sleeves knit and get this thing ready to go. This looks like I used a lot of yarn, and I'm just gonna let you know, I barely made a dent in this bin. So these were my color choices. Some of these I didn't even use, but these were my color choices. And as you can see, barely a dent has been made. I did completely use up, and I'm looking over there because I have tiny little bits left. I think I used up pretty much completely 4 or 5 of these kind of 20-gram or so cakes. But as you can see here, there's still, and they're falling out, there's still a ton left. So I'm already thinking about my next project that is going to be using scraps. Now, I haven't decided on a color palette yet, and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna not share it here until we get a little bit further along with the Jethro. I don't want to go too much too fast, but I'm already thinking about the next scrappy project, and it is a cardigan. I will just leave that little detail with you. And if you want to see more on this project or that future project or any other projects that I'm working on, make sure you subscribe, give this video a like, share with a friend, and stay tuned for more progress for Works in Progress Wednesday. Thanks so much. See you next week.